This is Rumimi Snow White, a fairy tale for moms and kids to enjoy together. Long ago, in a beautiful kingdom, there stood a warm and lovely castle filled with light, flowers, and hope. In that beautiful kingdom, a lovely white kitten was born. Her fur was as white as snow. Her name was Rumimi White. She was small, white, soft, and very cute. The king and queen loved baby Rumimi very much. They wished for her to grow up safe, healthy, and happy. But this happy time did not last long. When Rumimi was still very young, her dear mother passed away. The king was deeply sad, and a new queen came to the castle. The new queen was beautiful, vain, and arrogant. Every day she stood before her magic mirror and looked at herself for a long, long time. Then she always asked, "Mirror, mirror, who is the most beautiful of all?" And the magic mirror always answered, "You are the most beautiful, Your Majesty." Each time she heard this, the queen felt happy and proud. As time passed, Rumimi became a lovely young kitten with snow-white fur and bright eyes. But Rumimi was loved not only for her beauty. She had a warm heart and a kind spirit. Soon, everyone in the kingdom loved her. One day, the queen asked, as always, "Mirror, mirror, who is the most beautiful of all?" But this time, the answer was different. The mirror said, "You are beautiful, Your Majesty. But now the most beautiful one is Rumimi." The queen's face turned cold. She could not believe it. Her heart filled with jealousy and anger. At last, she made a terrible decision. The queen secretly called for the hunter. In a cold voice, she said, "Take Rumimi deep into the forest, and do not let her return to this castle." The hunter was shocked, but he could not refuse her order. The hunter had no choice but to obey. So the hunter observed Rumimi in the forest to obey the wicked queen's command. However, he could not bring himself to harm Rumimi, who cared for the animal kingdom and had a beautiful heart. "Run away, Rumimi White," he said. "Please do not come back to the castle." Rumimi ran deep into the forest. She was scared and alone. Big tears rolled down her cheeks. She did not know where to go. After a long time, Rumimi White saw a tiny cottage. Warm light shone from the windows. The little house looked safe and cozy. Rumimi White slowly went inside the house. The cottage was very warm. Inside, everything was small, and there were 7 of everything. There were 7 little beds, 7 little plates, and 7 little cutleries. There were even 7 tiny cups. Actually, this cottage was where 7 squirrels lived in the forest. They wore tiny hats in different colors. They walked in a funny little line. Step by step, 7 squirrels came back to their cottage. The squirrels listened to Rumimi's story. They felt sorry for her. They welcomed Rumimi White. They decided to live together in a small cottage. That night, everyone gathered around the fire and shared fruit and dinner together. Rumimi was able to smile again. Back in the castle, the fox queen stood before the mirror again. She asked in a proud voice, "Mirror, mirror, who is the most beautiful of all?" But the mirror gave the same answer. "You are beautiful, but Rumimi is still the most beautiful." The queen was furious. She went to her dark room at once. There she made a wicked magic potion in a large black pot. The green potion bubbled and glowed. Then the fox queen took a bright red apple. She dropped the magic potion on it. At once the apple began to glow. Now it had become a dangerous magic apple. The queen changed her look and dressed like an apple seller. She carried a basket of apples and went into the forest. The disguised queen visited Rumimi White. Kind Rumimi White bought an apple from the disguised queen. The poisoned apple sparkled and looked appetizing. Rumimi White took one bite. At once, Rumimi White's eyes grew heavy. Rumimi White fell down. The flowers in the forest supported the falling Lumi White, becoming her bed. Rumimi White fell into a deep, peaceful sleep as if dead. The 7 squirrels found Rumimi White sleeping in the forest. They were frightened and very sad. There, Rumimi White was sleeping an endless, long sleep. The squirrels stayed near her and worried. One day, a prince came riding through the forest. He saw Rumimi White lying on the flower bed. Prince fell in love with Rumimi's beauty at first sight. He got down from his horse and walked slowly to Rumimi White. Then he gently kissed Rukmini. At that moment, Rumimi White's magic was broken, and she woke up from her sleep. The prince and the 7 squirrels were all overjoyed. The prince and Rumimi had a grand wedding. Under the blessings of everyone in the kingdom, the 2 lived happily ever after. This is Rumimi Snow White, a fairy tale for moms and kids to enjoy together.
Every smile is meant to